Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
The other night when Ponzi's plane came in late, like very late, she finally arrived somewhere near 2 in the morning. We were driving home on I-5 northbound, and right around exit 7, we noticed a couple of cars. One was pulled over to this side of the road, and the other one was upside down. And its horn was, blaring. We were probably the third people on the scene. It had just happened. And when that happened, it was like, what do we do? Ponzi immediately got on the phone, called 911. I called too, just in case she couldn't get through. She walked up to the vehicle. We stayed towards the side of the road. And when she got to the vehicle, there was another driver who had pulled over in front of the vehicle because we're on an interstate. But thank goodness it was like very, very early in the morning. And it was a little worrisome because we didn't know who was in the car. If anybody had been injured, it was just a single car accident, though, from what we could tell. The other person who had pulled over in front of that car arrived after we did, but was a paramedic. So that was a good thing. By the time I was looking in the trunk for some road flares, which I didn't have, I should have prepared, but I'll get to that in a second. By the time I got there, I don't know if you'd call her a victim or what, but it was apparent that she was a drunk driver, and it was also very apparent that her car was totaled. She got away with minor scratches, likely because she was completely limber when it happened. It was kind of weird, very strange. That was probably the first time in my life that I'd really experienced something like that firsthand. Emergency situations can happen anytime, and you're better off being prepared. And if you're not prepared, well, take the time right now, make a note, and prepare yourself. It's one of the things I got to pick up this weekend is road flares, so the next time something happens, I am prepared. Now, this email comes from Hi Shoes Shoe, and I apologize if I said that incorrectly. It says, I live in the Northwest, where recently there was a huge blizzard that dropped about a foot of snow where I live. Driving back to work, I was stuck in a drift about halfway between my apartment and my workplace. Not a good place to be stuck. Both my apartment and workplace were commercial and lively, but I had the hard luck to be stuck just between them in an area bereft of any activity. So what should you do in such a situation, or in any situation which might be termed an emergency situation? There are guides everywhere, of course, but here are top 5 things that I learned from personal experience. And you might remember, too, as I was reading this, I was thinking, especially talking about the snow and whatnot, I was remembering James Kim, who I worked with at Tech TV, and that was another one of those unexpected things that it's just read this and prepare. Number 1, don't make things worse. For instance, in my situation, do not gun your engine in a desperate attempt to escape. This won't help and might blow a cylinder, making things a lot worse than they were before. It's very easy in a situation like this to panic and start doing stupid things. Stop, take a deep breath, and consider what you're about to do might make your life more difficult. Number 2, don't expect help. Unless, for some reason, you have cause to believe someone is looking for you. If I had been running errands and got caught in a storm, I might have had reasonable expectations for that. Do not expect that anyone will be arriving anytime soon to help you. That said, in a real emergency, such as an earthquake, the National Guard will usually be called in. So if you wait long enough, someone will come eventually. Whether they come in time, however, is not guaranteed. Only act when you're rational. Sitting safely at home, it may be hard to read this, but it isn't easy to remain calm and rational when the snow is falling hard outside. Your car won't move. The nearest gas station is miles away, and you can't see 5 feet in front of you. Nevertheless, no matter what, you have to try to stay calm. It's all right to panic initially. Anyone who's human would panic, but you can usually feel the panic creeping up. When you do, sit there and don't do anything. Let the panic pass. If you act while you're in that state, you're liable to make a mistake that could turn up being fatal. And if it sounded like I said liable, I meant libel. Not as in, anyway, I think you understood what I was trying to say. Number 3, number 4, enumerate your options. Try to lay out all your options. What can I do? What will give the best chances of success? Even a slight chance of success is better than no chance of success. For instance, in the earthquake scenario, if you think you can successfully navigate to a safe place, then do so. If you don't think you can, however, don't risk it. Never forget that. Never forget that, situation depending, there may be a chance that a rescue operation will get to you. Of course, in my situation, that wasn't the case, but in most emergency situations, it is. What this means is that sometimes the best option is to stay where you are. I'll always remember the story of a man who was driving with his wife and daughter and got caught in a snowstorm much like me. After several hours, he went to look for help, leaving his family in the car. He froze to death. His family was rescued a day later, frostbitten, but alive. And that may be the point at which he was referring to James Kim. Number 5, be prepared. In the grand scheme of things, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Frankly, it's just better to be prepared for the unexpected, because life happens to everybody. Always have some kind of emergency kit available on hand, which usually translates to mean in the car. In my experience, it's nice to have a first aid kit, some electrical tape, a penknife, a flashlight, and some kind of shovel or pick. Oh yes, and you probably already carry this around with you, but in case for some reason you don't, bring your mobile device, your cell phone. It might always be able to help get a signal, but if it can, it could save your life. So basically, I mean, he ended up making it out, and we'll have the story posted on the website. Obviously, he made it out. He was able to email me successfully, and very grateful for that. One of my two of my essential emergency tools. One is a weather/clock radio, etc. It has batteries, but it's a hand crank thing, so I can get juice to it indefinitely. And then another one is a similar hand crank flashlight. It's don't take anything that's going to rely on battery power alone, because inevitably the batteries will die. And light and communications are two very, very important things to have. Relatively affordable. You can probably pick them up, at a shop or online. Just do it. No matter where you live, just do it. So with that, I'm just going to close it out. I don't know. I guess that could potentially save your life if you pay heed and actually go out and get some of these tools. And at some point in the future, you may have to use them. Hopefully, you never will, but they're there just in case. No matter if you've got other potentially life-saving tips to pass along, feel free to share them. You never know who's going to see or share them with anybody else. My email address is chris@pirillo.com. And, of course, you can also find us typically talking about technology. I mean, certainly there are tech tools that could be made available. GPS could come in handy. Shortwave radio. Any kind of communications tool really becomes so crucial in those situations. Absolutely crucial. Anyway, the website where you can typically find us talking tech 24 hours a day, 7 days a week is at live.pirillo.com. We'll see you later.